Hey there, Calvin Tillman with you here from the front porch here in Valley View. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Been getting a lot of questions about my candidacy, and I just wanted to reiterate that I am not a candidate for House District 68 at this point, and I will not make that decision probably until after the legislative session. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is the showmanship and the gloating after each legislative session. All the legislators go back to their districts and they talk about what a great job they've done. And I believe that they actually get talking points because they're all on the same page. So they will say things like, we passed the largest property tax cut in history, and yet your property taxes still increase. And or they will say, we passed the strongest border legislation in the country, and yet there's still a mess at the border. So how can that be? So they add a little showmanship in there. And so they'll come back bragging on everything that they've done. You really have to dig a little deeper. We once had a state Senate candidate who went through a very rough election where he was beat up pretty bad on his position on the Second Amendment. Next session, he went and he carried like 11 Second Amendment bills. But if you went and looked, none of them even got a hearing. Well, what they won't tell you is that they have to actually request a hearing. They have to put together this whole package for the committee, and that's a lot of work. And so a lot of times they'll carry or they will author legislation, and then they won't even get a hearing. They won't even try to get a hearing. And so a lot of that is for show. It's just, show that, hey, I'm a conservative, or, I'm grassroots because I carried this legislation, when in reality they didn't really do anything with it. And so, in particular with David Spiller, what I will do is I will post a link to Texas Legislature Online for the last legislative session, and you can see what bills he carried, and it'll tell you whether the bill passed or whether it didn't pass or whether it got a hearing and didn't get a hearing. So it'll tell you the status of it. And so if it was just enrolled and submitted to committee, then it never got a hearing. And so is that intentional? I don't know the answer to that, but I suspect a lot of it is intentional and that they carry it just for show. And certainly the legislation that they do carry, and especially the ones they brag about, often does not accomplish what they say it's going to accomplish, such as the property tax bill or the border bill. They say is going to fix everything, and it really doesn't fix anything. So just keep that in mind. Next session, after the session's over and they come back and they're bragging to you about everything that they've done and all of the great accomplishments they've accomplished, and dig a little deeper into that. So next time we're going to talk about David Spiller's voting record, not his voting record in the Texas legislature, his voting record in the elections. So we're going to take a little deeper dive on that. So looking forward to having that conversation. So thank you for listening to this today, and God bless you, and God bless Texas.